Okay, in this class we'll discuss about data elements and domains, how to use data elements and domains in the table, and why we need to use data elements and domains. So yesterday we have observed one thing, like if you don't use any data element and domain, what is the main issue we are facing? If you use built-in types, consistency, right? So one developer is creating employee ID with character 10 data type, and the other user in a different table, when he is working on a different table, is creating the developer is creating the table with the employee ID field as a numeric 12. There is a possibility, right? So there is no consistency. In one table, the same field we are using character, and the other table for the same field we are using numeric, right? There is no consistency across all the tables for the same field, right? And we are not able to reuse whatever the data element and whatever the data type and length description entered here. We are not able to reuse these properties when we are creating same field in the different table. Again, we have to provide data type, length, and description manually. Right? We have to provide all these details again, right? Whenever you are creating a new table and it contains employee ID field, every time you have to enter these details if you are still using built-in types. There is no reusability, right? There is no reusability and there is no consistency, right? And
Yes,
along
sir.
with this, we have some special features when we use data elements and domains. So through data elements and domains, we can make use of those special features and we can apply to that field. So we'll see what are the special features and how we create data elements and domains. Please mute. Okay. What is a domain? Domain define the technical attributes of the table field. Okay. What type of attributes? Technical attributes. Like, what are the technical attributes?
Like
Data
data
type,
type,
length. These two are the important technical attributes of the table field. So domain define the technical attributes of the table field. What are the technical attributes?
data type, and length.
Data type and length. What is the type of that field and what is the length? Okay, that defines in data. And along with this data type and length, we have some special features available in domain. We'll see when we are creating that domain. Okay, but the most important features what domain provides is data type and length, technical attributes of the table field. Okay, and so have you observed one thing when we are creating data into the table? So you guys observed one thing. Even I've entered value in the lower case, how it is saving in the database table?
Uppercase.
It is automatically converting lowercase values into uppercase and saving in the database table, right? You check this table. Even if I enter lowercase city value, it is automatically converting that into uppercase, right?
Yes, sir.
So in domain, we have a special feature that is a checkbox, lowercase option. We have a lowercase option. By using this, you can create data in lowercase. For example, if you enter data in lowercase, it will save data in lowercase only. If you select this lowercase option in domain level, okay? For example, if you enter data in uppercase, what it will do? What it will do? For example, if you enter uppercase data and you selected lowercase option in the domain level, then how that field will save the data? Is it in uppercase or lowercase?
Lowercase.
No. Whatever the case you have entered, it will take as it is. That is the feature of lowercase. It won't convert to lowercase. Okay? If you enter in uppercase, it will save in uppercase only. If you enter in lowercase, it will save in lowercase only. Even if you enter in camel case, like some letters uppercase and some letters lowercase, it will take as it is. Okay? When you select lowercase option, it is not going to convert into lowercase, but it will take as it is. How you enter the value, it will save as it is. Okay, clear? We are selecting lowercase option doesn't mean that it is going to convert data into lowercase, but it will take as it is. If you enter in uppercase, it will accept in uppercase. If you enter in lowercase, it will accept in lowercase. It won't convert. Okay, but what is the default behavior? It will convert everything into uppercase if you don't select lowercase option. Okay, there is some special fields which has to accept data in lowercase also. For those fields, we have to select lowercase option. This is an important interview question also. Okay, so they'll ask how to enter data in whatever the case I have entered. What is your answer? We need to select lowercase option in domain level. Okay, so it will accept as it is. Okay, that where that option is available, that is in domain lowercase option. And we have also value table in domain level, that is it will show what is value table. It will show the possible inputs for the field. Okay, and again we'll discuss in detail about this. For now, just remember What is domain? Domain is the technical attribute of the table field, and it contains a data type and length of the field. And data element. What is data element? Semantic attribute of the table field. What do you mean by semantic? Semantic in the sense meaning. What is the meaning of the field? Right? That means a field description and field headers. This one, field description. Okay, this is one of the semantic attribute. What is the field name? So we are providing field name here, and if you see here, if you display it in a report format, you can see some report headers here. You can see some report headers, right? Phone number, country, instead of field names. So these details will maintain in data element as field labels. We call it as field labels. Okay. So what is data element? Data element contains semantic attributes of the table field. Okay. For example, field description and field label. Okay. These two. And we have few additional options or few additional features available in data element also. We'll discuss those additional features in the next classes. Okay. So that I don't want to confuse you. So now how we create data element and domain? Data element and domain will be like this. So inside the first, there are two approaches, top down approach or bottom up approach. First you can create the data element and then create the domain, or first you create the domain or use the domain in the data element. We have two approaches. Okay, we'll see both. So inside the data element, you configure the or you enter the domain. So let's assume this is the data element. This is the domain. Okay. Now let's go to the server and create data element and domain. So now I'll create one table. So yesterday we created this master data table with the help of built-in types, right? Now we'll create a table with the help of domains and data elements. What is the data class we have to select for master table? Application table. And display and maintenance allowed. Go to the fields. Now what is the first field of the table? Primary key field, right?
Yes, sir. ID.
Employee ID.
ID.
Select it as primary key. Now we need to use data elements. Do we have a data element for employee ID? If it is already created by someone else, if it is already available in your system for the data element for employee ID, just use it. Okay, just use the data element. Otherwise, create the data element. Okay, you should not create data elements every time. First check, is there a standard data element or custom data element available for this employee ID field or not. If it is available, use the data element. If it is not available, create the data element. Okay, first let's check whether is there any data element for the employee ID or not. I'll search like this. Click on Z star emp star F4. These are all the data elements available for the employee related details. By going through the names, you can find employee ID 01. It is integer data type, employee name, and employee ID. See here, there is one employee ID data element. The length of the, what is the type? Character 15. Just select this and click on enter. It is automatically applied data type, length, and description, right? You don't need to worry about what is the length I have to give for this field. You don't need to worry about the data type, and you don't need to worry about the description and everything, because everything is configured in a data element, right? Just make use of the data element, create your table. You don't need to worry about the remaining things. So what is the description you have to provide? What is the length, data type? You don't need to worry about, right? So going forward, everyone, whoever using employee ID field in different tables, they can use the same data element, so that the data type, length, and description is common in all the tables. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I'm removing this so that we can will create our own data element and domain now. Again, please remember, when you are working in the projects, don't create data elements and domains on your own. Okay, first check, is there any data element already created by some other developer, right? Search it or ask someone, is there any data element available for this field? If it is not available, then create your own. Okay, so we have standard data elements provided by SAP and custom data elements created by the ABAP application developers whenever required. Depends on the requirement. First, let's create a data element for employee ID. If you observe, so inside the data element, we are adding domain, right? We are adding domain inside the data element, right? As per this, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
First, which one we need to create? Is it data element or domain?
Data element.
So data element is in the higher level. First, if there is a domain, then we can enter that in the data element, right?
Yes, sir.
If the domain is already available, then we can enter that domain name when we are creating the data element, right? Now,
Yes.
the first element required is domain. Go to open SC11 again in the separate session, and we have two different approaches. I'll show you both. Okay, go to SC11. I'm creating the domain. So what is the type you have to select? Domain. Z emp id. This is the domain I'm going to create. Okay, click on create. Already exists. Someone already created this domain with the same name. Okay, or we'll take like this Z zdemo underscore employee ID. Okay. So this is not the field description. Please observe, this is not the field description. This is description of the domain, short description of the domain. Now what can you observe here?
Definition.
Data
Data
type.
type.
So what is the data type
Name
for
of type.
employee ID? Sorry, please mute. Char. Or you can use F4 to find out the existing data types. Okay. Select char. So what is the length required for employee ID in our scenario? 10. Okay. Decimal places is not required for character type. And if you observe here, I'll explain this output length and everything later, routine. For now, since we have discussed about case sensitive, what is this case sensitive option? So actually it is not lowercase, it is case sensitive. Okay, wait. Let me check in the ECC server how it is previously. Open any domain, go to the, I'm opening standard table. These are the data elements, right? Double click on the data element, Matner, and inside the data element we have domain configured here. This is the data element. Inside that, domain is configured. You can use same name for both the data elements and domains. Double click. Okay, case sensitive option. It's not lowercase. So what is the option? We have to select case sensitive. Okay, this is the option we have to select to make it value in uppercase or lowercase. Okay, whatever the case we entered, right? If you want to save the data as it is, what is the option you have to select? Case sensitive option. Okay, but for this case sensitive option is not required. I want to convert everything into uppercase. Okay, even if you enter lowercase, it should convert the data into uppercase. That's why I'm not selecting it. I'm just providing data type and length. Value ranges we'll see in the next example. Save. Select the package. Now we are creating a table, right? If there are 100 fields, we may need to create 100 domains and data elements, right? So make sure when you are assigning a transport request, you have to assign to the single transport request, not different transport requests. All these domains and data elements, right? You should assign. Okay, let's assign to one, let's create one transport request. Create. I'm naming this as employee master report. Click on save. Observe this. Remember this transport request. Going forward, we are going to use this transport request for this development. So I've provided the data type and length. Click on save, check, and activate. Go back. Our domain is ready, right? What is the next step? What is the next object required? Data element. Select data type, enter the name. I'm using the same name. Okay. So which one you have to select here? Data element. Continue. Provide the short description. employee ID. And what you need to provide here? The domain name. Okay. In this data element, you have to provide the domain name and click on enter. Okay. Your domain is assigned, right? If you observe here, even without using domain, you can create a data element, right? Using built-in type, you can just enter character and length. You don't need a domain, right? Have you guys observed this?
Yes.
Even without using a domain, you can create a data element by using built-in type in the domain. Sorry, data element. By using built-in type option in data element, you can create data element without using domain, and you can use this data element in the table level, right? But why we are creating domain? In domain, we have some special features, right? Like lowercase, or sorry, not lowercase, case sensitive option, and we have value tables. We can define allowed values for a field. So to you make use of all those features, we need to use a domain. If you don't use domain, can we use a case sensitive option? If you don't use domain, can we apply case sensitivity property to the table field? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No. That case sensitivity property is available in domain only. So if you don't use the domain, you cannot use that property, case sensitive property for your field. Okay. For that reason, to achieve to add features whatever available in the domain. For example, if you don't need that feature, case sensitivity feature and the value tables and the other features, I can just go with the built-in type. Domain is not required. It is not mandatory. Okay. But it is always recommended to create a domain. Okay. But that is not mandatory. Okay. Is everyone clear? So that is the now go to the next tab. Here we have some special features available in data element, that is change document, parameter ID. So these things we'll see in the next classes. But if you don't use data element, you cannot apply these special features to the table field. Okay. If you just use built-in type, you're going to miss all these features. Okay. That is another reason why we need to use data elements and domains. So in data elements and domains, we have some special features. To apply those special features to the table field, we have to use data elements and domains. Okay. In domain level, I can say lower case sensitivity option. And in data element, we have this change document, parameter ID, and we have field labels also. Field labels is like report headings. Okay. Short, medium, long. When we are working on the reports, you can observe the importance of this field label. We'll provide some description. EMPID as short description. Save. So I provided data type. So in terms of domain, like I provided the domain and field labels. These two are the very frequent options which we use when we are creating the data elements. Okay. These options we use rarely when we are working on the custom objects, custom data elements. Okay. Now check use of domain ZDemo EMPID is not permitted. Why it is not permitted? Let's check. Double click on this domain. It is active. Why it is not allowing newly created domains? Let's try the different server. I'm trying in 2021. I'll create the same. Create. Save. I'll save it in the local object. Check and activate. Now I'll use this domain in a data element. Create provide the domain name and provide the field labels. Save, activate. It is active now. Looks like there is some issue in the server. It is not allowing newly created domains. Okay, it is accepting the existing domains. It is not, somehow it is not activating in the backend. The back, maybe in the backend database. Okay, looks like there is some issue in the server. We'll continue this table creation in 2021 server. This is a demo employee. Create the table. So data class is A. Delivery and maintenance allowed. Go to the fields. Provide the field. Employee ID. It's a primary key. Now we need a data element. Let's. We have already created, right? So provide that ZDMP ID. Did I take? Okay. I think I have created this, right? ZDemo employee ID. Yes. Enter. Okay. So first I have created the domain and then I assigned the domain to the data element. Okay. But I have taken same name for both domain and data element. Inside the data element, you can find the domain. Is it mandatory to use domain to create the data element?
No.
No, it is not mandatory. You can go for built-in types if you don't want that case sensitivity option and value ranges. Okay. Now, next field, employee name. Again, check. Do we have a existing domain for employee name? Let's assume it's not there. It's not available, and I have to create my own data element and domain. Now we'll see another approach. It is top-down approach. First one is top-down approach. First we created the domain and we used the domain name in the data element. Now we'll see the second approach, bottom-up approach. First we'll create the data element and then we'll enter the domain. Okay. Is everyone clear on the first one? How we created the data element and domain? Yes. Now we'll create here itself. From here itself, we create the domain and data element. Let's try that another approach. ZEMP underscore name. If it is already available, it will display here. It is already available. Z demo underscore EMP name. It is not available. What it is saying?
It's not active.
It is not active means that is not there.
It's not available.
It is not available. Create our
Double
own thing.
click.
Double click on it. It is the another approach. Okay. Double click on it. Yes. Create the data element. First it is asking to save the table. Yes, save it. Now it is asking to create the data element. Yes, create it. Provide the short description. Employee name. Then what is required here?
Data
Get the
type.
domain, right? Do we have a domain already for employee name?
No, sir. No, sir. Double click.
If we have a domain, check for domain. If there is any domain available for employee name, which is already
Okay.
created. If it is already created by someone, use that domain. Otherwise, create your own domain. Z demo underscore name. Click on enter. What it is saying? No active domain available. So that this domain is not there. Double click on it
Take the domain page.
to create the domain. Provide the description. Character 10. Maybe what is the name, right? We'll take 40.
30.
Do we need case sensitive option for name?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think so, but we'll select a case sensitive option for this. Okay. Click on save. Activate and go back. You will go to the domain. You have your data element, right? Sorry, domain, right? Your domain is ready. Now maintain the field label. Save, check, and activate. Now your data element is ready, right? Your data element for employee name is ready. Which approach we use? Bottom-up approach. First we created the data element and then we created the domain from here in the table navigation itself without going to the separate session. Now, what is the next field we need?
Date of joining.
This is the separate server, different server. We have employee name, city. We need a field for city, right? Is there a standard data element available for city? Let's check. There is a standard data element available for city. That is, I think, ORT01. Like if you go to any standard table, you can find these references. So KNA1 is the customer or yeah, customer
Master.
master table. Customer master table. All the customer master records will be available here. Kunar means customer ID, customer number. This is the primary key here. Okay. So what is land one means?
Country region key.
The country ID, land one. So for wherever you are using country ID, you can make use of the standard data element. ORT01 means city. We have a standard data element, right? For city.
Yes, sir.
Can we make use of the standard data element without
Yes.
creating our own?
Yes, sir.
Because it's already available, right? Double click on this data element. What are they using? Are they using a domain, separate domain for this? No, they are just using text 35. That means character 35. Double click on this. What is the option they have selected?
Case instead.
Case sensitive option is selected. That means city value will be case sensitive. If you enter in uppercase, it will save in uppercase. If you enter in lowercase, it will save in lowercase only. Okay. So city is a case sensitive field, correct? Now just copy this, go to your table and enter. You don't need to create again, right? Because it's already there, it's already provided by SAP. Why you need to create one more additional duplicate data element, correct? So why these names are like this? Kunar, Land 1, ORT01, Regio. Why these field names are like this? Why can't this be some city? ORT01 is not, they can just use like city, right? See, who
This
developed this SAP software? Where it is developed?
German.
SAP
German, right? So
Germany.
SAP
Yes, sir.
SAP is a German company. So German in Germany they have developed this. Okay, initially for
Yes, sir.
that region, especially for that region. Okay, so when they are designing this, they have used all German kind of names which are understandable for the Germans, right? Later they created this SAP for like compatible to the many languages, multi-language facility and everything they have provided. But when they have designed, they used German names. Okay, so mostly these are all relevant to some German names. Okay, so that's why these field names are a little different. When we are start working on the system, right, you will come to know. Okay, clear? Please mute. Now, what is the next field? Data of join, right? Let's assume we don't have a suitable data element for data of join. What we need to do? We have to create our own data element. So now tell me which approach will follow, first approach or second approach? Which one we want to see again? Do you want me to create data element and domain using first approach or second approach?
Second approach.
Okay, we have already created using second approach, right? Once more we'll see the first approach. Go to a separate session, open S11. So go to domain, ZDemo, DOJ. Create the domain first. This is the first approach. Data of join. What is the data type you have to provide? Dats. Okay. DATS. It will automatically assign number of characters. What is the output length it is automatically assigned? 10.
10.
Because output length contains separators, field separators. Okay. Now save, check and activate. So I'm using a different theme. That's why I'm able to see these options. Save here, check here and activate here, right? So you might have a different theme. Please set your theme, okay, as per your choice. I've shown you how to change the theme of SAP GUI. So my domain is ready. Now create the data element. I'll use the same name. Create, select the data element, provide the data element name, sorry, domain name, enter, go to the field labels, maintain the field labels, short description as DOJ, medium as date of join. Save, check and activate. Now my data element is ready. Use this data element in the table. Okay. What is the next field? Phone number, right? Let's assume we don't have a we have a lot of standard data elements for phone number. Okay, but let's assume there is no standard data element or custom data element available for a phone number. Now let's create our own. Now I'll follow the second approach. First I'll enter data element name here. Just click on enter. If it is already there, it will populate. Otherwise, it will show this message. Phone is not active. So double click on it to create. Double click on the data element to create the data element here itself. Save. Provide the short description. And what is the domain I have to provide? Let's check. Is this domain already available or any other relevant domain is available? So it is not active. Domain is not active. Create the domain. What is the suitable data type for phone number?
Namsi.
Namsi.
If you observe, these options are automatically disabled, case sensitive, and because case sensitive is not applicable for numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
So I activated the domain. Go back. Now I'm in data element. What is the next step? Just maintain the field labels. So activating each individual object is very important. Okay, if you don't activate domain or data element, you cannot use it in the table. Okay, go back. Now this is our data element. Go back. Now it will take you to the table. When you click on back, so the domain and data element is for phone number is ready. What is the next field? You have created using built-in types. Country, right? If you observe this, what is the standard that we have a standard data element available for country, right? So we have a standard data element already available for country. Let's use this country data element. I'm not creating a new data element. Okay, clear? Now what's the next step? Click on save. My fields are ready. My fields are ready. Click on save. What is the next step? What is the next step in table creation? I provided delivery and maintenance, and I have provided the fields, and I have selected the required primary keys, and and what is the next step? You
Technical.
have to maintain the technical settings. That is a mandatory step. Okay, maintain the technical settings. So what type of table it is? Master table APPL0. Size category I will provide 1. Depends on my requirement. Click on save. So why it is not allowing these fields, standard data elements in this? Let's check. Let me forcefully activate this. Okay, again it is not permitting the standard data elements. There might be some ATC checks or someone defined in the system. That's why it is not allowing. Okay, since it's a training system, someone has enforced some rules. So for now, just we'll use custom only. I'll use built-in type, char 40. Maintain field label. I did not maintain the field label. I'll just take character 8. Save and activate. Go back. Activate. Go back. So now I've used all custom data elements. Let's check. So looks like when we are using combination or when we are trying to use custom data elements in the custom standard data elements in the custom table, it is throwing error, but it should not. Okay, it should not. Looks like there are some system settings or someone did some system rules, defined some rules not to allow standard data elements along with the custom data elements. I'll check that. So enhancement category is missing. Maintain like what is the future enhancements plan? I can be enhanced deep. So check, save and activate. Now my table is ready. Where can I create the entries? Table contents, create entries. 100. name of 100, city some Hyderabad, saved the first record 101 for 101, name of 101, save 102, save for 103. I'll enter like this, name of 103 in all uppercase. Let's see how it will save in the table. Click on save, go back and entries, check the entries, execute. Okay, looks like I've entered in a lowercase. That's why it is created as it is. Okay, if you observe this for employee name, for 103, it is created in lowercase, right? Did I enter in the lowercase or uppercase? Let me check again. Let me create one more entry, 104. 104. I've entered in uppercase. Can't save. Since we selected the case sensitive option, it is saved as it is in uppercase, right? The remaining for 103, I've entered data in lowercase. It is saved as it is in lowercase. For the rest of the records, I've entered in camel case. Like first letter is uppercase, the remaining is lowercase. It is saved as it is, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, how we can delete an entry, sir?
So usually we don't delete or change, or we don't create entries here in the table level, SC11 table level. Okay, we have separate options for that. This is just to create some test data. This create entries option in SC11. That doesn't
Okay,
mean
sir.
that we are going to use this option in projects. We have a special option that is called table maintenance generator that we use to maintain the data actually. Okay, but this one we are using just for our learning purpose, to just to create some test data. Okay, we'll see that maintenance in next session. Okay, is everyone clear on the table creation using data elements and domains?
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please let me know. And one more thing, if you when I opened the standard table, what is the first field of the standard table?
Mandate, MANDT.
MANDT. That is client number. Client number is nothing but whatever the client number you see in the screen, right? Login screen.
Yes, sir.
Let's see one more table, Mara. What is the first field of this table?
Mandate, MANDT.
MANDT. And it is a primary key field. Please observe. Let's go to EKKO. And here also MANDT is the first field and it is a primary key field. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So there is a special feature. There is a special functionality behind this MANDT field in the table. Okay. So that is very important functionality. But for now, we are not using that MANDT in our table, right?
Yes, sir.
But there is a special functionality behind that MANDT field when we use that in the table. Okay. So we'll discuss that in the
Okay.
next class. Okay. But for today, please practice creating data elements and domains. That is very important.
Okay, sir.